Welcome everyone, to Real Talk with Lamin, the podcast where we share real stories and real experience and real conversation and that inspire and educate people around the world. I'm your host Lamin, and today we have a special through just Mr. Gregory Mitchell, right?
Yes.
And he's an author and a speaker and a man whose life journey is a remarkable story transformation. Gregory is an author and a preaching to maker, a powerful that tell the story to overcome diversity, discovering purpose and finding hope after spending decades in prison. He is also the author of the forthcoming book Psycho Economy. Today, we will talk about his life, the lesson he has learned, the challenges he has overcome, and the message he wants to share to the world today. Whether you are facing obstacles in your own life, looking for inspiration or belief today, conversation will leave with you something meaningful that will help the audience. Gregory, thank you so much to accept my invitation. It's an honor to have you real talk with Lamin. You are welcome, sir.
Well, I am thankful to be on your show because it's a very exciting experience to talk to a brother on the other side of the country.
Yeah,
On the
exactly.
other side of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And for starts, like you mentioned, my name is Gregory Mitchell. I am the author and motivating speaker,
Mm,
community caseworker, entrepreneur, and student in psychology and human development. After
okay,
spending about nearly 3 decades in prison, almost 30 years in prison,
okay,
I transformed my life through education,
okay,
faith, and pursuing a purpose. Today, my mission to help people understand that before we change our circumstances, we must change our consciousness.
exactly. Wow, that's an inspired story. I mean, today we wanna talk about your early life, and your prison to Jamaica and uh, prison. How many years you spend in prison, and we will talk about faith and purpose. We will talk about life after prison, and we will talk about your new book as well, and advice to the young people and the audience, listening to you right now, and the rapid fire. That's one I want us to talk about today. If you
Okay.
are really comfortable to share this story to the audience around the world listening right now.
Well, I'm very enthusiastic about all the questions because I believe that transformation starts in a very hard position.
Yeah, yeah,
And around the world, we don't really understand the conditions of people that are in a worse condition than we are. By me
mm,
living in America in a city called Stockton, California,
okay,
is considered as one of the third worst cities in the United States.
okay,
And the reason why it's considered as the third worst city in the United States is because of our gun violence and our gang violence that we are plagued with at this particular time.
okay.
But
So
being an
how?
advocate, go ahead.
No, no, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. But being an advocate and a conscientious advocate, meaning that being aware of all the psychological change that our youth go through, I beg
Okay,
to differ that Stockton is the third worst city in America. I believe the
okay,
reason of that is because it's just a matter of perception.
yeah,
Once you understand that our youth have going through these transformation in life, and they do these things not basically out of just impulse, they do these things out of survival.
yeah,
Once we approach this understanding about how our youth are in this condition, then it's very easier for you to communicate to the youth why this is not the appropriate approach to take. But at the same time, you understand why they're in that condition.
yeah. That's true. But can we talk about your early life? Those days. How who are you? How it was. Those days. The early life. I'm very interested to know about that story.
Yeah, in my early life, I was born in a place called French Camp, California.
Okay.
French Camp is about um, 5 miles south of Stockton, California. It's not that
Okay.
far, but it's in the county hospital. I was born in 1956.
Okay.
Uh, Back in the day, we had what is called a civil rights movement. I was born right in the middle of that movement in 1956. We were
Okay.
considered as Negroes.
Okay.
And Negroes didn't really have any civil rights until Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and a plethora of other leaders came and started fighting for the rights of the blacks in America. So I was
Yeah.
born in that era.
Okay.
I eventually, my mother was born in Mississippi in America, and she ended up going to prison when I was at a very young age.
Oh. So
And
how okay, continue. Let me you can speak. I'm
okay,
sorry.
so I'm gonna lead up to how I ended up in certain places in time. So I'm gonna give you the childhood part. It's in the book
Okay.
Prison to Mecca. So if any of your readers or any of your audience ever want to order the book Prison to Mecca, it's in all platforms on Amazon. I don't know what book platforms you got over there, but it's on every platform. You should be able to find
Platform.
it.
Okay.
If not, I'll send you the link.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
but my childhood was considered as the projects. Projects is considered as a squandered area. You
Okay.
know, like if you were in South Africa, they would Johannesburg would be a place that you would see as a ghetto. In
Yeah.
America, we have these type of scenes in almost every city where there are black people, whether it's in
Okay.
Chicago, New York, California, Los Angeles, or wherever you go. I've been to Atlanta, I've been to Mecca, you'll find impoverished people all over the world. But in order for you to understand and be able to see yourself and see the scene that I came from,
Mm,
my projects was what was called my first living in projects was called Edison Villa, which was an ex-army base.
okay.
It was a bore down army base, and so that's where we live. We live with holes in the wall, mice is running around, roaches abundant living among us. But we
Yeah.
were happy children. You know, we played in the mud, we played marbles. We had all those slotty noses, and the young girls they would do their hopscotch and they playing their jacks. You know,
Yeah.
and so I lived in that type of environment. But you know, as a young child, you don't see it as a place of disaster or hardship. You just see it as life.
Yeah, exactly. But how do you manage to leave that era of you say Malcolm X, right?
Hmm.
And Martin Luther King. How was that era been and today? How can you give us a little bit about that era, because most of us maybe I don't know the story, those days, how this they call us like Negroes, which we don't like, So how was that days and now? What is the difference?
Well, the difference is that as you grow up in life. So let
Yeah.
me go back. Okay, Malcolm was a very prolific speaker. He
Okay.
was
Yeah.
What made him famous was he went to prison, and he
Okay.
did about 10 years in prison. So
Okay.
when he was in prison, he was induced to Islam, and not in the Sunni Islam, but in the
Yeah.
form and fashion of Islam in America that had never been taught before.
Yeah.
And so he became a voice and an advocate for Black people's civil rights, but he felt that the appropriate way to be able to gain civil rights was to bear arms, because America has its constitution, and one of the founding constitutions is to be able to bear arms.
Yeah.
But at that particular time and era, Black people could not bear arms because they were not given the full plethora or full penalty of the law.
Okay.
So these civil rights leaders came along and they started fighting for our rights, in which was in 1963, they passed what is called the Civil Rights Bill. And
Okay.
so we had this, what is called affirmative action. It allowed Black people to merge with white people. Uh,
Mm,
Schools, Black children were integrated with white children in white schools to integrate America. Well, the difference between Malcolm and Martin is Martin wanted to have a peaceful movement, and
okay.
like Mandela in
Yeah.
South
In South
Africa, he
Africa.
wanted to have a peace movement, but they threw him,
Movement.
cast him in prison for 28 years, almost the exact years that I did. But he was
Okay.
casted in prison for something as an advocate in the political uh, juggernaut, so to speak, to change what was happening in South Africa. But I was
Mhm.
thrown in prison because I was just a hard-headed person, and I was doing a whole lot of stuff, and ended up having some conflict with other people, and then I ended up getting a life sentence. But I was
Oh,
an advocate out there. But as you transform your mind, as I was a young man into prison and doing 3 decades, I discovered Malcolm's biography and
okay.
who Martin Luther King really was, and
Was
all these black advocates was for us. So I started studying about how our history was connected in Africa, where we came from, uh, um, in the west coast of Africa, where the slave ships were taken from, where they landed, brought
Mhm.
us into Jamaica and the West Indies, and then transferred us into America, and how we
Yeah.
became slaves over a period of time. So historically, prison taught me that. But as a child, I was thrown what is called into the foster care system. Foster
Okay.
care system is basically where it's like orphanages, probably in your country. Foster care is where your mother goes. My mother, like I
Yeah.
said, when I was a young
Yeah.
age, around about 7 years old, she went to prison.
But
And
but but sorry to, I mean, I want us to talk about little about that. When your mom went to prison, how do you manage? How was life with you those days? How what was the challenges? With you at that early age. You are 7 years. Mom is not there. I mean, life will definitely will be difficult, and there must be a lot of challenges on you. What challenges do you face? And those days, do you face any challenges those days? When your mom was not around.
oh yeah, because see, you have to understand in America it's different. They have these white establishments. They have what is called foster care.
Foster care, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so they have these homes designed for children who are separated from their parents.
Yes,
So
okay.
the place that I went to was called Mary Graham Hall.
Okay.
Mary Graham Hall was a big brick building built like a Gothic building. And when I went there, my sisters went there, they separate the families. So you can't
Okay.
have contact with each other due to the fact of age, race, you know. So while I was in the Mary Graham Hall, I experienced what is called my first understanding or first encounter with prejudice. Because I
Okay.
really didn't, when I was a little kid, we were all black kids. We never
Yeah.
ran with white kids. So there they had white kids. So a
Yeah.
white little girl liked me because I'm light skinned, and
Yeah.
and she liked it, a light skinned little colored boys they call it. And then
Yeah.
me and her was playing with each other, and she kissed me on the cheek. And
Okay.
one of the white uh, like caretakers there to watch over us, she came and grabbed her and told her, "Don't ever kiss me because I was dirty."
Oh.
That wasn't it, the word she used, but for the sake of language, I don't like using that type of language. But
Yeah,
she
I
called me a
understand.
whole bunch of names. So my
Mm.
sister was there too, and she's always
Okay.
been a fighter and advocate for my family. So I went and told her what happened, and she went and cursed the lady out. Went and told her all these different, told her they'll never say that to her brother. And then after that, they were all separated, and me and my other little brother was left there.
Oh.
So we went to another place called the Stockton Children's Home. And then from
Okay.
the Stockton Children's Home, we went into foster care with foster parents that lived out in a white place where was called Gulf, California. And it's all at that particular times, we were about in the 60s, 61, 62 or something like that. And black kids didn't go to school out there. It was only three
Oh.
black school kids in the school. Me and
Okay.
my little brother, and they eventually separated him because of grade, and another little black kid. So we were called niggers so much.
Oh.
As I grew up, I thought my middle name was Gregory Mitchell Nigger Mitchell, you know, because they call us that so much. But
Yeah.
I was able to make the adjustments there. But an
Okay.
incident happened. I think it's important that you understand
Hmm?
that I got in a car accident. We got in a car accident with our
Oh.
foster parents, and it broke my nose. It kind of like
Oh.
swelled my face up. So when I went into the hospital, my father came and see me. He couldn't even recognize who I was.
Oh.
So it was an act of God or the Creator or
Yeah.
whatever your faith may be to save me. But what happened is when my mother was in prison, she educated herself, so she knew how to write.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
she wrote the governor and told the governor that she didn't want her kids being with the foster care no more because they tried to kill me. And that
Yeah.
was not true. So they took me out of that house and put me back in Mary Graham Hall in a place that I didn't want to be because of the prejudiced people that were there.
Yeah. But do you have relationship with your sister and your brother? How was the relationship? Those days when you people were coming up, your mom was not there. I mean, are you people connected together, or do they separate you? Each have to go to different foster care family, or you people have been together?
Yeah, what happened before that was the family was together already, right?
Okay.
So we were all kids running around doing what we do. We were different age, but our mother taught us how to be tight knitted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we used to go to motor movies, shows together. Like if you read the book, I talk about us going into a restaurant called King's Restaurant, where the mouse or the rat traps were neatly uh, parked in the corners of the restaurant. It was something
Mm.
out of a James Bond movie. This is how I write about it. And this is
Yeah.
one of our greatest things and greatest cuisines that we had because our culture, we had cornbread, neck bones, pig feet, pig head, chitlin guts. And this is what we were fed at a very young age because this was the only thing that we could afford.
Okay.
You see, so our diet was enriched with all kind of stuff that we consider now as haram.
Yeah. It's a very, very, I mean, a lot of challenges, growing up, without your parents around, I mean, many feel a lot challenging. So now we talk about, your early imprisonment. So I want to talk about your prison years now. I mean, how can you tell us about the circumstance that lead you to the imprisonment, and what was the first day prison look like, and what is the hardest lesson you learned during those days? Was there a moment when you decided that your life had to change? What role did education, reading, and self reflection play a transformation in your life?
Okay, so I have to give you the story so you can
Okay,
understand what led me up to it. Okay,
okay.
in 1989 or
Mhm,
87, I'd already
mhm.
went back. I went to prison for a robbery.
Robbery, okay,
Okay, because I was out robbing people.
okay,
I
okay,
went to, that was my first stint. They only gave me like 2 years for it, so I got out like in 16 months. So by the time that I got out in 16 months, it was like the 1987s or in that era. This was
yeah,
considered in America the crack era, the
okay,
crack cocaine era. So
yeah,
when I got out of prison, I started selling
okay,
crack cocaine. So I was considered as a D boy, a dope boy, out selling
yeah,
drugs and making money and chasing promiscuous women and doing all those type of things. So I was
okay,
making a lot of money doing that. And then when you're on parole, you got to dodge the parole officer. So
yeah,
they're like a police that is designated for them to watch over you. And if you do anything wrong, they send you back to prison. They call it a parole violation. But
okay,
so what happened was I was out in the neighborhood selling drugs one day, and
mm,
one guy hit my girlfriend, and
mm,
he was a gangbanger. He was a Crip. I don't know if you guys know the Crip blood and all that nature
yeah,
of colors and all that historical aspects of the prison scene in America. Black on black crime has always been at a high rate. And so I went and confronted these gangbangers.
yeah,
And so they pulled a gun out on me.
okay,
I'm saying by me being in prison, I wasn't afraid of getting shot or killed. I was
mm,
considered in the game. So I told him if he didn't do what he was going to do then, he can't be faking. So he didn't shoot me. So I had my girl go get me a 357.
okay,
So when I got my 357, I went in and confronted him. And once I confronted him, I shot him and I killed him. And
oh,
so this was the leading factor for me to get the life sentence. So
okay,
I went on a run. I left the country. They called me. They extradited me back to Stockton, California, where I was at. And then they convicted me of 36 years to life.
Ooh.
Within that period of time of me waiting on to get sentenced, like in America, you're not found, you're not proven guilty until
Guilty.
you're proven innocent until you're found guilty.
Guilty.
So you
Exactly.
go through the judicial process, and when you're fighting these type of cases and stuff, they last from anywhere from 1 year to 3 year. You're
Hmm.
fighting your case so you don't get the life sentence. So I fought it for like would consider it as 3 years. But while I was in the county jail,
Yeah.
um, I had a grade level, a very low grade level, sixth grade level, and this was the fact. This was due to me going to Miriam Hall and children's home, and then
Okay.
getting the culture shock of going back into the projects and
Hmm.
having fights with other people because they felt that I articulated myself like a white person. So the
Yeah.
black guys used to make fun of me and things said I was white, so I used to get into a lot of fights. Okay, but
Okay.
anyway, from that stage of going into prison, I was in county jail waiting trial. So
Okay.
I was a Christian at that time. I was known as the preacher, you know.
Okay.
So I was able to run up and down the tiers as they have it because it was like this 3-tier thing with bars. We just yelled, scream, burn trash on the
Hmm.
tier. We did all kind of raucous things. We were a raucous little crowd. But I turned to Christ at that time, and by me turning to Christ, I was starting to educate myself through the Bible.
Okay.
And once I educated myself through the Bible, I started understanding how to file grievances on the prison or on the jail. So I became a prison advocate in the jail. And that
Okay.
created a lot of enemies for me. A lot of custodian officers and people didn't like me. So one day, the inmates decided to go on a food strike. And when they went on this food strike, they wouldn't come out to get their food. And so they locked down the institution. And when they locked down the institution, they came and got me. They said
Okay.
I had the most influence of the inmates there, so I'm the one that staged it, which I didn't. The story's a little deeper than that. So once you get the book Prison in Mecca, maybe if you send me an address, I'll send you a copy of it.
Hmm.
And so they came and got me. And at this time, San Joaquin County Jail, they were was called what they would do to blacks is that they would do what they call a hog tie.
Okay.
And a hog tie is that they put a chain around your neck and then they handcuff your neck back with the back right there, and they would leave you there until you choke out. And then
Okay.
they would come take it off of you after you choke out. But sometimes they would get there too late and the inmate would die. This is what they
Ooh.
were doing to blacks at that time.
Oh my
So when they came and got me, the fear was is this is what they were getting ready to do to me because they said I had too much influence
God.
over
Yeah.
the inmates. So when
Yeah.
they came and got me, they came in riot gear to really hurt me. But the creator protected me.
Yeah.
So at that time when they were getting ready to take me into AgSed, this is what is called administration segregation, where they put you by yourself. They put you in a cell by yourself 24 hours a day. Nobody gets to have contact with you just by yourself all day. So
Okay.
so when they got ready to take me, the inmates start yelling, call his family, call his family, so they don't hog tie him and kill him because they're getting ready to take him down into the hole. That's what we call the hole.
Yeah.
So when they took me down there by those people yelling and screaming, don't let him be taken to the AgSed, saved my life because the sergeant said, consider yourself lucky this time. So while I was down there, I stayed in AgSed for 2.5 years fighting my case all by myself.
Okay.
So one night I had a dream.
Hmm.
I had a dream of a black cloth, square black cloth that
Yeah.
had some writing on it. I never knew what the writing was.
Was
You know?
okay.
So when I got out of the dream, I started asking everybody, say, I had this dream. This dream had some gold writing and some silver writing on it. It had this big black cloth. You know what that dream is? So no one really knew what the dream was,
Yeah.
right? So fast forward, when I was found sentenced to 36 years to life, I was transferred to a new jail.
Okay.
So they took me out of AgSed and put me in general population. And while I was in general population, I was trying to find people to tell me what this dream was.
Yeah.
So when they finally shipped me out to prison, what is called Calipatra, right on the borderline of California and Mexico, the country Mexico, which is about 750 miles away from Stockton, California, where I live, I ran into a Muslim brother named Mahdi.
Mahdi. Oh, I have a son named Mahdi too. My second son, his name is Mahdi.
Okay. So me and Mahdi in prison, which is it was a very violent prison, very violent.
Oh,
A lot of stabbing, shoot, the officers killing us. You know, blacks have a terrible time in prison. We
yeah,
have a terrible time. We got all kind of enemies. No one likes us. We don't even like ourselves.
yeah,
But we have to survive. And the creator gave me this story to motivate people. So one day, me and Mahdi was arguing.
yeah,
I was arguing about Jesus. It was Christ God. He was the blood of Christ. If nothing is with the Jesus but the blood of Christ, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And
mm,
Mahdi was saying, no, it's only one God. And Muhammad ibn Abdullah is the messenger of 1400 years ago and the seal of the prophets. So me and him was arguing back and forth. And I would tell him, I don't know nothing about no Muhammad, and I don't know nothing about no seal of no prophets. All I know is Christ is God. And he
yeah,
said, Christ, he told me, say, Christ is not God. He's
yeah,
not, he's not the one God. He's not the creator of the universe. So we used to dialogue, exchange books. And then one day we got in a serious, heated argument.
okay.
And he said, one day I want you to come to Juma. I said, I'm not coming to Juma. I don't know what Juma is. I'm not coming to Juma. I'm a son of Christ. He said, okay, one day I'm going to invite you to Juma. He was a very patient brother. I really admired him. Still do right to this day.
Okay.
And so one day we got in this argument. I said, okay, I'll come to Juma, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'll come to Juma if
You
you
have
tell
to
me
go
what
and
this,
see.
if you tell me what this dream is,
Yeah.
right? He says, okay, tell me the dream. In the back of my mind, nobody's been able to tell me what this dream is for the last 3 years. So I know
Okay.
he can't tell me it, right? So
Yeah.
he says, tell me what the dream is. I said, okay. When I was in Ag Said about 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, I was all by myself and I had a dream of this big black cloth.
Hmm.
It had gold writing on it, it had some silver writing on it, and it was this big black square thing. I don't know what
Yeah.
that big black square thing was, but that's my dream. So he looked at me. He said, I can tell you what that dream is.
Okay.
And I said, no, you can't tell me what that dream is. Nobody's been able to tell me that dream. He said, now remember, I can tell you that dream. And if I tell you that dream and you're honest, you're going to come to Juma? I said, absolutely. If you tell me that dream, I'll become a Muslim.
Yeah.
And I'm
Oh.
lying in the back of my head. I'm lying. I ain't coming to
Yeah.
a Muslim, right?
Okay.
Right. So he goes
Yeah.
up, and the way this prison is set up, some people have what they call juice, or they have particular duties, and they can get the prison guards to open up the cells because they have these what they call like M40s
Yeah.
guns. So to keep order in the prison, they have these fences where they can look at everybody that's on the floor. So they standing over us, watching us with the gun. So he asked the guy to open up his cell for him. So he goes up to his cell. He comes back down. He has this poster,
Yeah.
and then he opens up the poster and he lays it out on the table, and he says, "Is this your dream?"
Yeah.
So I look at it and I say, "What's that?" He said, "This is the Holy Kaaba in Saudi Arabia. This is where Malcolm X went. This is why his name is El Hajj Malik Shabazz, because he went to Hajj here. Is that what you dreamed of?" I wanted to lie so bad.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell him, no, this is not what the dream is about.
Dream is,
The
yeah.
guy said, you can't lie. You know that's what that
No.
dream is about. You've been looking for this dream.
Yeah.
He said, I know this is what the dream is about because I can see your body language. This is the dream. And this is what he told me. He says, I've been a Muslim for 30 years and I have never dreamed about the Kaaba.
Kaaba,
Prophet
yeah.
Muhammad said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, peace and blessings upon him,
Yeah.
said that anyone dreams about the Kaaba will go there.
Yeah.
So he said, I haven't dreamed about it, and you're a Christian. There's no possible way that you're not going to be a Muslim. I said, oh, no, not me. Nothing but the blood of Jesus, brother. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. I ain't never going to be no Muslim, right? So that was the beginning of the story of me becoming the
A
Muslim.
Muslim.
And I'll let you ask me more questions how I ended up getting to Mecca, because this was an extraordinary event too.
Yeah, we will be coming today. How you end up being in Mecca. I mean, because you write a book about uh, prison to Mecca, right?
Right.
But what was the challenges, in that prison those days, in those years? Because there must be a lot of. I know you talk about a lot of things, Like I want to give us more about those days in American prison, how it looked like, when a black person is in prison, what is the difference? How do they treat them, with the white people? Is there any fair treatment between?
Well, there is never a fair treatment for the black man in America, Keith. Especially if he becomes a Muslim. He's never
Yeah,
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 but we have to be able to adjust. So in prison, it
yeah.
was kill or be killed.
Okay,
So you had to learn how to be able to manufacture weapons. You made them out of anything. You found a nail, you'd make a weapon out of it. You found some plastic, you'd burn it, shape it, and make a weapon out of it.
Mhm.
You had to learn how to make weapons, and then you had to learn how to be able to hide them, because
Because
they
we
had
watch,
strict.
we watch that on TVs, how prisoners hide make weapon from toothpaste, from something very simple, and they'll be hiding it under the bed. We saw that in prison, so it means that it's a real thing happening too in jail those days.
Right. So
Okay,
so eventually I took my shahada
in prison.
in prison. So when I took my shahada, it caused some conflict with my Christian brothers.
Okay,
So the Christian brothers got together and they wanted to attack the Muslim brothers.
okay,
And so I went and talked to them and kind of smoothed it out, you know, and because they had weapons and we had weapons.
yeah,
And I explained to them that we couldn't be enemies or we couldn't fight each other due to the fact just because we had different faiths did not mean that we were not brothers.
yeah,
We
exactly.
already had we may have different theological understandings about things, but we're still
Mhm.
brothers in humanity.
Brothers. Yeah,
And
exactly.
on this yard, we have to stick together because we have the Hispanic, which is called the MA. You had another Hispanic group called the 18th Street. Then you had another Hispanic group called the Sureños. And then you have the Nazi lowriders, which is a white group, a white
Okay,
supremacist group. And then
okay,
you have another group of what is called the Fresno Bulldogs. All those groups fought against us. So you had
okay.
one group of blacks against all those people. So generally,
Oh,
when we got into riots, and then the police, they were so far into a rural area that they were
mhm.
generally all white, maybe 4 or 5 blacks. And so their thing was just to gun you down and shoot you down, no matter whenever the riots jumped off. So there was constantly riots there with black and white and Hispanic inmates, and God just protected me. I never got caught in those scrimmages or those melees. He just preserved me. He always got away. Or the
Yeah.
officer would search my cell and he would overlook the weapons, you know.
Okay.
And one time I was walking on the yard and these officers they called me to them. They say, Mitchell, what you got? You know, they said, what you got on you? Because we know you got something on you, but we're going to give you a chance to go get rid of those things that you got on you. And I
Yeah.
did have something on me. And then, but when I look back on this,
Yeah.
in these terrible conditions, because it was like 124 degrees there,
Ooh.
I seen that the Creator was always there to help me.
Yeah.
You know, in foster care, they had a lot of molestation and stuff going on with kids were being abused. I never faced that. In prison, they had a lot of people that I seen were shot and killed by the guards there.
Gotcha.
A lot
Yeah.
of people stuck and go to hospitals, die of natural stuff. He
Yeah.
let me 3 decades. He got me out of that. You know. So when I finally got out of prison, I went to the local masjid. But I'm gonna let you ask me some more questions before I get
But
there because I don't
yeah,
want to
before we,
spoil
yeah, exactly.
how I got to Mecca.
Before we get there, I mean, you are a man. You have belief. You have faith. You know, because you said that you were a Christian before, and you have faith in Christianity before. And is there any force for you to become a Muslim, to take your first Shahada? Did anybody force you to do it, or it was just a decision from you to, like your friend, narrate your dream, and you decide that, I think I have to be a Muslim because this dream is true? How was it? How did you become a Muslim? How all that became, in one umbrella? Like how it happened?
Well, it happened like when Mahdi showed me the flyer, the
Yeah.
poster.
Okay.
My mind had finally had rest.
Okay.
It says, that's the picture. He's telling you something that's phenomenal. He's telling you that if someone dreams about this thing, this Kaaba, that you know what it is, the center of the earth, the holy city of Mecca,
Mecca, yeah.
1,000 miles from America, or even longer or further, you're dreaming about it. There's no possible way that this guy is lying because nobody's been able to tell you this dream. So maybe you should start studying and find out if he's telling you the truth.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I studied was Malcolm X's biography. And I seen what he went through with the Nation of Islam and how he went to Mecca and he came back and he became Sunni Muslim.
Yeah.
So that was a start. And then the brothers gave me a prayer pamphlet with the Arabiya and the translation.
In
so
English.
I had to learn the Fatiha, I had to learn how to wudu, I had to learn all the essentials of the 5 pillars of Islam. I had to learn all these things. And it was interesting in me because it gave me more structure in my life. It gave me discipline and it raised my conscientiousness.
Yeah.
It made me more aware. So I was able to convey more when I was, because I was already a writer of 602s and filing grievances and writs of habeas corpuses and all the stuff. That's how I ended up being a writer, I suppose, because I was training myself. I was writing so much stuff to people and for people. I guess I formulated the art of writing. It was one of those type of things. But no, to answer to your question, nobody forced me to become Muslim. No one stuck a knife up to me and said, you're going to become Muslim.
A Muslim.
Because I was a staunch Christian and I was already a warrior.
Yeah.
So I was willing to die for that. So,
yeah.
In those type of conditions, you have to be willing to die at any day that you come out. Any day that you come out on a yard, you have to be willing in the mindset that you may not make it today.
Yeah.
You may not make it home. So Islam emboldened me even more when I start reading about Hamza and Abu Bakr and all these warriors, and these people were fighting in the Battle of Badr. It was outnumbered 300, 800, all these battles they were fighting, and they were fighting fi sabilillah. That's just emboldened me more. So I said, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go to paradise. So, I was even stronger then, so I said, well, I'm gonna go to paradise, so I'm just get whatever Allah want, I'm gonna get. But I became more of a humanitarian type person. I became able to convey that to my enemies much easier. I don't want to fight you.
No.
But I will fight you. But I really want to choose the path of peace. That's the path that Muslims want to choose.
Yeah.
But as an African American and I know that I'm your arch enemy for whatever reason it may be, I really want to choose peace.
Yeah.
So I really build up a good rapport with everybody because they know I wasn't a coward. They knew I was a warrior, and they knew I wasn't afraid to die. So that gave me more power to be able to talk to people.
So it means, you take a lot. Your story is very inspiring. I'm learning a lot here from you. You have been in prison, or you've been in prison. So it means that you started writing, or everything changed, be a Muslim, started writing books, having this kind of inner peace in you. Controlling yourself, everything started in prison, right?
Yes.
Okay. So how was the journey?
Okay, so I got to lead you up to the journey so you can understand how difficult it was and how it was a miracle. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna walk you through.